to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this little girl blazer jacket with the pencil trouser. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the blazer jacket. So the first thing you're going to do is you might need about, depending on the age you're making this for, I'm making it for is 5 years old going to 6. So I'm going to need about, like, let's say at most 2 yards of fabric. What I'm going to do is to cut out the fabric you're using. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and cut out this is my back panel, this is my front panel. So basically the width of my back panel is just the chest measurement divided, the around the hip measurement, because I want it to go down all the way to the hip, divided by 4 plus extra like 2 inches more. You can do extra 2.5. So that's what I have here. So the chest measurement I'm working with is 23, divided by 4 is going to be 5.75, and then I added extra 2 inches to it. So the width I have here is about 7.75, but I just approximated it to 8 inches of width. So that's what I have here. So with this 8 inches, I folded another fabric to cut out my front panel, and then I added extra 2 inches for my front panel. So I have 2 inches all the way down here. So this 2 inches is going to be the neckline. This is where I'm going to put in the neckline. So the next thing you're going to do now is to start inserting the measurement. Then you're going to measure the length you want the blazer to be, and then you're going to add your seam allowance to it. So the length I'm using here is about 22, including my seam allowance. The measurement I'm working with is going to be about 12 inches, divided by 2 is going to be 6 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that here. And then I'm going to come down here and put in the armhole. So you're going to divide the shoulder by 2, and then you're going to divide it by 2 and then put that in, and then you're going to go ahead and insert your armhole. So the armhole I'm working with is 14, divided by 2 is going to be 7. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that here, connect it all the way up this way, and then you're going to come here and then mark like half an inch down from the shoulder slope. Come in here, put in the neckline. So the neckline I'm going to be using here is going to be 2.5. So I'm going to mark 2.5 here, and then connect this all the way down here. Put in my neckline this way. Remember, this is going to be the back. So the next thing you're going to do is, if you want, you can make it like a boxy blazer and just give it a little dart. If you want, you can do that. If you want still, you can go ahead and shape the clothes. So all you have to do is you're going to use this chest line as your bust line. So you're just like how you do for an adult. So at this chest line here, you're going to divide the bust measurement by 4, and then you're going to add 2 inches to it, and then you're going to mark it. The chest measurement I'm working with is 22, divided by 4 is going to be 5.5, plus extra 2 inches is going to be 7.5. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that here. Then I'm going to mark the shoulder to the waistline. So guys, the shoulder to waist I'm working with is at 11. So I'm just going to come in here, divide the waist measurement by 4. So the waist I'm working with, because it's like a little girl, the waist and the waist and the bust are almost the same thing. So I'm just going to bring down that same measurement here, but the only difference is that, remember, I'm still going to pick a dart at the waist, so it's going to subtract like 1 inch there, so it's still going to come in a little. And then from there, you're going to put in the waist to down the hip. So that's like about 18 inches down here. So you're going to just mark it out this way. So you see, there's really no much difference here. All I have to do is just to go in now and cut this whole thing out. So guys, the breast point, the next thing you're going to do, as you can see, I've cut out this whole thing now. So the next thing I'm going to mark is the breast point I'm working with, which is 7 inches apart. So you're going to divide it by 2, and then you're going to mark it. So that's going to be 3.5. I'm going to mark it here, and then remember, this is going to be my chest line. So I'm going to go up and stop about 1.5 from here. So guys, for the back, you're going to extend it all the way up to the chest line, because this is the back dart. And then you're going going down, you're going to stop like 1 inch before this hip line here. So I'm going to stop 1 inch before there, and then you're going to just mark half an inch on each side here, and then connect it just to mark the dart, right? And then, but for the front, this same dart, you're going to extend it to the front, but the only difference is that you're going to stop 1 inch before your chest line. That's where you stop. And then the same thing at the bottom, you're going to stop 1 inch before the hip. But for the back, you're going to extend the dart all the way up here. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and separate this extra 2 inches that I have in front. I'm going to separate it because this is my front panel. And then what I'm going to do next now is I'm going to remove this back. Let me just mark this so that I know where my where the 2 inches starts. So I just marked a straight line down that part. And then the next thing, I'm going to remove this, and also let me trace out this back neckline too, so I know where my neckline is. So you see, now what I have to do is just to go from the peak of this neckline now, and put in my the neckline for the front. So I'm going to be using about 2.5 of depth. You can use 3 inches, it depends on you. So I'm going to use like 3.5 down here, or I'm just going to use 3 inches. If it's like a 4-year-old, you can use 2.5, but this is like almost 6 years old. So I'm going to just mark it this way, connect it this way, and then I'm going to mark this neckline here. So now the next thing you're going to do is to, so guys, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to cut out this neckline, right? And then I'm going to also go ahead and take this, you see what I marked here, which is my shoulder to waist, which is at 11. I marked it here. So from this 11, I'm going to connect it this way. So you're going to curve it all the way into this part here. So this part, but you're not going to curve it directly, because remember, you're still going to put in a button there. So just come out by 1 inch here and then connect it this way. So that's how you're going to do it. Come out 1 inch from this point and then give it a curve from this neckline down, and then you're going to mark a straight line down from that 1 inch. So guys, the next thing, after marking this 1 inch, another thing you can do is to make the blazer go in. You can just go in from here like 2 inches from this end here, extra 2 inches. You can go in from this point 2 inches or 1.5, and then you can just go in this way from that same waistline. You can go in this at this point here like this, so that the blazer will cut in at the end, and then it's just going to have this center part that is going to meet. So it's going to look something like this, right? So just the button at the center is what I'm trying to say. So you can curve it in if you want, but I'm going to leave mine straight like this. So I'm going to go ahead now, cut this line all the way here, cut it up, and then cut out the neckline. So guys, this is the 2 of them here. So remember to put in your darts on the 2 sides. So I have 2 panels for the front and 1 panel for the back. You see my neckline, how it curves in this way and goes down. So now all I have to do is to trace the facing for this neckline for the front. And then I'm also going to go ahead and show you guys how I'm going to cut my sleeve. Just folded into 2, and then I insert my armhole, which is 14, divided by 2 is like 7. So I'm going to just mark this. I came down by 2.5 here, and then mark the straight line, marked this line all the way from this point to this point. Halfway through this point to this point is like 9 inches. Halfway through is like 4.5. So I gave it a small curve here, and then another curve on this point. So the next thing is to put in my sleeve width. So the width is going to be 8 inches, divided by 2 is 4, plus 1 inch of seam allowance here, and then I'm going to just connect it all the way to this point. So that's basically my sleeve. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So guys, now that I've cut it out, this is going to be my sleeve. So I have 2 of them here. And then guys, the next thing you're going to do is, you see my front panel, I went ahead and traced out just like this of this pattern of the front panel, basically the neckline, this part, and then like about 4 or 5 inches in. So you see, this is what I cut out here, all the way to the sleeve. So this goes in all the way to the sleeve, halfway through the sleeve. And then also, because I'm not going to be lining this, so I need this here, I need to trace it that way. So this is the next thing also. So you're going to use like a cotton fabric, or any fabric that you think you want to use. Maybe even satin can also work. Not satin like silk, I don't know, anyone you want to use, you can use that. So also for the back neckline, I also traced this here. So you see, I traced this here too. So now I also cut out the neckline, and then it goes up to the armhole this way. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in the darts, and then I'm going to join this all together and show you guys how you're going to join it. So guys, as you can see, I've picked my darts for the back and then also for the 2 sides. So what I did is just to join the shoulder of the cloth together, join the 2 shoulders of the main fabric, and then I also joined the shoulder of this black this piece that I'm going to be using here. You see, I also joined them together the same. This is where the shoulder is, and then this is it here, flapping over like this, and then I joined it inside here. So you see my seam on the inside, I also joined it this way. So you see what it looks like now. So when I flap it over now to close it this way, this is what it looks like. So I have my neckline, so this is running inside like my neckline. here. So when it folds over, you're going to have this black part this way here, and you're also going to have this black one this way here. So you see what it looks like at the moment here. So now we are going to go ahead and cut the collar so that we can be able to put in the collar and then also put in the sleeve and just finish it up this way. What I did here, I folded this neckline this way so that I can measure around my neck. So you see this is my back neckline, and my back neckline is 2.5, right? 2.5 from here to where the intersection of the front and the back. So from here, the front neckline is about 6 inches, right? So 6 inches is what I have at the front. So what I'm going to do is to mark my, so you see there's a fabric here, it's folded into two, and then I folded it again. I notched the center. The width of this fabric, the width like this is about 8 inches. Folded into two is 4 inches, right? So I folded it into two and then I folded it again. So I marked that 2.5 I measured, I marked it here, and then I measured about to the end. So like I said, I measured 5.5 here, but my neckline is going to stop, this my collar here is going to stop somewhere here, 1 inch before the end. So that's why I said, so you're going to measure 1 inch before the end. For me is going to be 4 inches. So 4 inches is what I have here, plus half an inch that I'm going to use to close up this end. And then on that line of that 4 inches, you're going to come up by 1 inch, and then you're going to blend it into this your back neckline. Blend it this way into where your back neckline starts on a curve. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and cut this now. To go ahead now and cut this way all the way to that point. And then what I have to do now is just to go to the sewing machine. You can iron in your stay in yours, and then what you're going to do is to close up these two ends. So guys, just make sure that when you fold your collar, you're going to have like 3.5 here. So you see 3.5. So make sure, so if you, instead of using 8 inches, when you open it up, use 7 inches here, so that when you fold it, you have 3.5, and then you subtract them, because that 8 inches was too big. Maybe in an adult it will work, but in a kid you need to reduce it. So now what I'm going to do is just to go ahead now. This is how you're going to join this here. So this is going to be the center of my neckline here. You're going to start from the back neckline. I notched it here. So you're going to also take the center of your the facing, which is this here, notch the center. So for me, I'm going to notch that here, and then you're going to take it. So guys, you see what I did here? I flipped it the wrong side out. So you see all my stitches are out. The wrong side of this one is outside there. So what you're going to do is to raise this up here, and then you're going to take this part that you notched, you're going to put it inside of this part that you also notched. You see, like I said, I'm starting at the back. So you're going to start with the notch that you made at the center back of your cloth. Put the collar, and then you're also going to use this one now to cover it. So, and then also make sure that the notches are the same. So you see the 3 notches that I made are at the same point here, if you can see that. So you can see my notch. So now I'm going to start from this my notch now and sew all the way down, making sure that my collar is going to be inside of it as I go. So my collar is going to come in between this black piece and then my main neckline all the way to here. But you see, it's going to stop 1 inch before where I want it to stop. And then the same goes for this side. After that, you flip it inside out. Here, the fabric is folded. So we've started the pants. So let me show you guys what the top looks like. So guys, this is what the blazer part looks like. So guys, like I said, you can always go in and move this back like this. Like use like 1.5 and away, so that way you will have something that is angled from this point. It will just angle this way. So it's like this part is folded away. So you can get this look also. Just go in by 1.5 and mark that down. So this is what mine looks in a little at the waist because of the dart. So but this is what it looks like in front. You see the inside here. If you want, you can use lining for yours, but I don't want to use lining because this is a child. So this is the back. I don't want it too hot inside. So this is because it's just a casual look. So guys, this is what I'm using for the trouser. The fabric is already folded into two. We'll start with the front panel. So what you have to do is to measure you're going to measure 1.5 down. So the width I have here is basically the hip measurement of the child plus 4 inches, then divided by 4. So the hip measurement I'm working with is 23 plus 4, that's 27, and then I divided it by 4. So that's why I have about then plus extra, then plus the crotch that I'm still going to add in. So the width I have here for mine is about 9 inches. So because mine in total after everything should be about 7 inches or 7.5, but then I need 1.5 for my crotch. So let's start inserting the measurement. So first, because this is going to be elastic band at the waist, I'm going to mark 1.5 in a straight line down like this, because this is going to be my elastic band part. 1.5 is what I'm going to use. Then the next thing you're going to do is to come down here and insert your crotch measurement. So to get what you use for the crotch measurement, divide their hip measurement by 4, and then you're going to add 1.5 to it. So the hip measurement I'm working with is, like I said before, 23 divided by 4 is going to be about 5.75 plus extra 1.5. So in total, I'm going to have about 7.25 somewhere here. So just call it 7.5. I'm going to just approximate it and mark that here. And then that's going to be my crotch line. And then on this crotch line, I'm going to insert my hip line, my hip measurement that I talked about before, which is hip measurement plus 4 divided by 4. So hip measurement, add 4 inches to it, which is going to be including the seam allowance and the looseness of the clothes. For me, I got about 7.5. I'm also going to take that 7.5 and mark it on the waist too, right? And then I'm going to mark a straight line to join the two together like this. And then make sure that I have about 1.5 at the crotch area here. So then after that, I'm going to just connect it this way like this, and then I'm going to insert my tape again. Like if you watch, you see that I'm not including this 1.5 here, because this is going to be my elastic band. So I'm just starting from this point to check my measurement. So now I'm going to check the pant length I'm working with, which is 22. I'm going to mark that here, and then I have extra about 2 inches more to fold the pants with. So now your tape, measure from this end to this end. I have 9. Mark half of 9, which is 4.5. Bring down, so that 4.5, mark half of it, like the distance of this point, your hip to this crotch area, mark half of it. So now what you're going to do at this center line that you've marked, which is this 4.5, you're going to go ahead and divide round the ankle. You're going to measure around the ankle plus your seam allowance. So that's what I did here. So in total, I got 11. Divide that 11 inches into 2. So I'm going to have 5. So that 5, you're going to divide it. Put, like, I have 5. So I'm going to fold my tape into 2 and find the center for that 5, which is here, and place that center at this line that I marked here. And then I'm going to mark it at this point. So I'm marking at 0 here, and then I'm also marking 5 at this point. So you're going to extend this line all the way down like a straight line, but then you're now going to curve it to this point, to your hip line. You're going to curve it all the way. If you have your curve ruler, that will be better. So you're going to, so guys, this is basically it for my pant. So I'm going to go ahead, cut this out and cut this out. So you see, connect this line all the way to the crotch, connect this one this way, but give it a little curve. So guys, with my front panel, which is this here, I placed it on my back panel. The fabric is folded. So all I did here is to go up here, mark 1.5 again at the top here, because remember there's the butt at the back. So the next thing you're going to do is to extend on this same line of the crotch. You see where my front stops? You're going to extend this line forward, and then you're going to insert 1.5 here again. So you're going to mark in 1.5 here again, and then you're going to mark 1.5 all the way down, distance of 1.5 from the side of this pant. So guys, now after marking this 1.5 all the way down on the side, I'm also going to just insert this same straight line. I'm going to make sure this line goes up all the way. This is now my new back crotch. So this line from my front crotch here, I'm going to extend it all the way up here, and then from this here, I have 1.5 at the top of this pant. I'm going to mark it line. I'm going to mark a line this way, all the way, because remember there's the butt at the back. So the back is supposed to be longer, even though it's still going to come with elastic, but it has to be a little bit longer. So you're going to blend it into this line, and then the next thing is you're going to mark in your back crotch now. So guys, this is my pants here. You see, I just removed this part. This part, there's no seam allowance. It's the same as the front. I just cut it out so that it will not confuse you guys. So all I have to do now is just this extra. The difference with the front and the back is just this extra 1.5 distance from the front. Extension of that same one, another 1.5 by the crotch on that same straight line. Give it a curve, and then you have a straight line at this back here, going from the line end of this crotch down. That's your new crotch for the back, and then you're going to extend it again 1.5 at this top here and bring it down. So this is just how you cut the little girl's pencil part. I'm going to go ahead, cut this out now. this is my front and this is my back panel. So all I have to do is just to go ahead, join this at the center here, join this at the center here, and then open it up and join the side of this to the side of this, which is this side. And then I'm also going to insert a pocket here. So this is where my waistline is going to be, right? I'm going to fold this into the elastic, so I might just come down here by 1.5 after that, or like 2 inches from the waist, and then I'm going to use a lining to just fix in a small pocket at the side here, like about from this distance from here to about 5 inches down, somewhere here I'm going to insert a pocket here. So that's basically how I'm going to do it. This is it here. You see my lining for the pocket on the side, so you see this is it here. So you just have to sew it on one side of the lining on each side. So let me flip it so you guys can see. You see, so guys, how you're going to join the pocket is just, you see, this is just like an open rectangle, and then I sewed one side of it to one side of the pant, and then sewed the other side to one side of the pant. So all I have to do now is to go back and close up this side and close up this side. So that's basically how you're going to put in the pocket. So that's the two pockets. You see, I've staged this one here. You see the two sides. You see the hem here, and then also on each side of the, so one side of the pocket goes to the front, one side goes to the back. So that's basically it. I also folded the end of my pant. So now I have to pass my elastic all the way around. So guys, I've passed my elastic. So you see the waist of the pant. This is it here. It has two pockets by the side. So this is the pant. This is the blazer. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.